Hello and welcome to this episode of The Filter. My name is Jessica, and today we have updates on Travis Scott being hit with lawsuits in the wake of the Astroworld Tragedy. Travis Scott has been hit with multiple lawsuits after 8 people died at his Astroworld Festival in Houston. We will be pursuing justice for all our clients who were harmed in this tragic and preventable event, said high-profile lawyer Ben Crump on Sunday in a release. He and lawyer Bob Hillard filed suit on behalf of 21-year-old attendee Noah Gutierrez. We are hearing horrific accounts of the terror and helplessness people experienced, the horror of a crushing crowd, and the awful trauma of watching people die while trying unsuccessfully to save them, Crump said. We urge others who suffered physical or emotional injury or witnessed the events of that day to contact us and share their stories. We found a story from a witness with the Instagram handle Sienna Faith, who released a statement which we'd like to warn you is disturbing in nature. Included in her statement was the following account. Within 30 seconds of the first song, breathing became something only few were capable of. The rest were crushed or unable to breathe. We tried to get out. There was nowhere to go. The shoving got harder and harder. It became more violent. Hundreds of people screaming for help. We begged for security to help us, for the performer to see us and know something was wrong. One person fell. Once one fell, a hole opened up in the ground. It was like watching a Jenga tower topple. Person after person sucked down. You could not guess the direction of the shove of hundreds of people would come next. I watched my friend be dragged away from me. I was pushed away from the rail into the crowd of people where I could hear from another direction the shrieks. It was happening all around me, these sinkholes of people. I sunk my feet into the ground, put my arms out, and tried to stop anyone from entering the circle. I was shoved further into the ground. There was a flood of bodies of men and women below, 2 layers of fallen people on the floor. There were people unconscious, being trampled. Somehow, I went toward the back of the crowd. At a guardrail, a man pulled me over. There were some people just standing there like nothing was happening. I saw the cameraman, eyes glued to the stage, elevated on a platform. I climbed the platform and pointed to the hole, telling him that people were dying. He told me to get off the platform and continued to film. He wouldn't even look in the direction, so I pushed the camera towards where I had come from. He became angry. He called someone else up. I told him the same thing. We needed to stop the music. We needed help. We needed attention towards the mass because I thought if only people were aware, maybe they would do something. The other man grabbed my arm and told me he would push me off the 15-foot platform if I didn't get down. People were screaming, calling for help. The strangest thing happened. People began to boo me. I went back down the ladder, went under the platform, called 911. The only thing they said is that they were calling the medical team in. I told the operator we needed to stop the concert. We needed light, awareness of deaths. Nothing. 2 men in red medical shirts bumped into me. They told me they had gone in and saw nothing. 2 girls that were in the pit with me helped explain it. We led them to it. They climbed the metal gates and went through to people. Those were the only ones who were brave that night. Footage which shows Sienna Faith's account of what happened with an Astroworld cameraman was posted online. An account from nurse Madeline Eskins tells another disturbing tale. As someone who has been to every Astrofest there's been, this was completely different. It was awful. I passed out because people were pushing up against me so much that I couldn't breathe. Sam got people to apparently crowd surf my unconscious body to the security guard, and I got carried to a little section behind GA and put down on a stool thing. When I woke up, I had a water bottle in my lap and had no clue what had happened. When I stood up, I looked around and people were getting carried out with eyes rolled back into their heads by security, bleeding from their nose and mouth. I yelled, "Has anybody checked a pulse?" The security guard, frantic, asked me to please help him. I checked 2 people and 1 did not have a pulse. I told them I was an ICU nurse, and then another security guard, hearing that, said, "Please come help us." He takes me to the part of the crowd behind GA where I see 3 bodies sprawled out and people who I assume were medics/medical staff doing CPR. I immediately see that there is not enough medics for this, so I relieve one medic of CPR. I ask where the ambu bag is, where the AED is, where the stretcher and ambulance is, where the F any shit is, and they said essentially there is none. There is one ambu bag, one stretcher, and one AED for 3, now 4 people who were pulseless and blue. Madeline also posted a tribute to 20-year-old Jacob Juranek. Rest in peace. This was the young man I first started doing CPR on when I followed the security guard. I'm so sorry we couldn't save you. I'm so sorry you went to a concert to have fun, and this is what happened to you. I'm so sorry. A fan, Manuel Souza, filed a lawsuit against Scott and other defendants, accusing them of negligence and seeking at least $1 million US in damages. Defendants failed to properly plan and conduct the concert in a safe manner, lawyer Steve Kirker wrote. Instead, they consciously ignored the extreme risks of harm to concertgoers, and in some cases actively encouraged and fomented dangerous behaviors. The lawsuit alleges Scott has a history of encouraging fans to act out. His express encouragement of violence has previously resulted in serious violence at numerous past concerts, it claims. In 2015, Scott was charged after allegedly telling fans at Lollapalooza in Chicago to ignore security and barricades to rush the stage. He pleaded guilty to reckless conduct and was arrested 2 years later for telling fans to rush the stage at a show in Arkansas. A third lawsuit filed Sunday by Thomas J. Henry on behalf of an unnamed plaintiff also names Drake as a defendant. Drake was a surprise special guest during Scott's set. Henry alleges that the two continue to perform even as emergency vehicles arrived and responders attempted to rescue those in distress. Reports from the New York Times, the Houston Chronicle, and Reuters state that Scott performed for at least 30 minutes after the mass casualty event was declared. On Saturday, Scott tweeted, "I'm absolutely devastated by what took place last night. Houston PD has my total support as they continue to look into the tragic loss of life. I am committed to working together with the Houston community to heal and support the families in need." In a follow-up video message via Instagram story, Scott added, "My fans really mean the world to me. I always just want to leave them with a positive experience. I could just never imagine the severity of the situation." Drake did not comment publicly on the tragedy over the weekend. Harris County Executive Lena Hidalgo said Saturday she is calling for an objective and independent investigation into what happened at Astroworld. "Nobody should ever expect for a loved one to go to a concert and not return," she tweeted. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Filter. Let us know your thoughts on this music news story down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.